expensive Pokemon game ever made? Well, I pushed myself to finish the game, and I can say pretty confidently, no, obviously not. We all knew it wouldn't be. Game Freak can't make a game worth $40, let alone the $550, yes, the number keeps going up, that the game actually costs to get the complete product. And even ignoring the price, the game is a disappointment in so many ways. It was so funny hearing people speculate. Sure, the game only takes place in one city, but this is France we're talking about, which has catacombs, so I bet there's a huge underground area like Tears of the Kingdom. Underground area? You can't even go in the buildings! In a city! You're expecting above and beyond when Game Freak can't even do the bare minimum. Game Freak's motto is to underpromise and still underdeliver. A small map taking place in a single location with no variety in that one area. Pokemon Legends ZA has finally released, and is it worth it? Is it worth being the most expensive Pokemon game ever made? Well, I pushed myself to finish the game, and I can say pretty confidently, no, obviously not. We all knew it wouldn't be. Game Freak can't make a game worth $40, let alone the $550, yes, the number keeps going up, that the game actually costs to get the complete product. And even ignoring the price, the game is a disappointment in so many ways. It was so funny hearing people speculate. Sure, the game only takes place in one city, but this is France we're talking about, which has catacombs, so I bet there's a huge underground area like Tears of the Kingdom. Underground area? You can't even go in the buildings! In a city! You're expecting above and beyond when Game Freak can't even do the bare minimum. Game Freak's motto is to underpromise and still underdeliver. A small map taking place in a single location with no variety in that one area isn't even complete. I don't consider a city complete when you can't go in the buildings. But enough of that. I'm skipping ahead a bit. We'll have plenty of time to talk about the world. I just want to illustrate to you that this is prevalent throughout the entire game. It's something that you already expect to be kind of underwhelming, and it's somehow worse than that. Not that the game's all bad. I mean, just look at this Mareep. Look at him jump around. Doesn't it bring you joy? It just makes me smile. And they did try a new combat system, and Game Freak hasn't tried something new in decades. So you gotta at least give them some props for that. And the collect them all aspect has been greatly improved.
Right.
You
Some props is good.
700 Starly to complete.
Some props are good, but the random weird, no dialogue, just waving your hands or the music scene, bro, you're a $1 billion company. You could at least hire voice actors. It's 2025. Even the indie games creators are putting voice acting. What are you doing, Pokemon?
The Pokédex, which makes collecting them all something actually fun and interesting to do. That's all I got for the positives. If you were expecting a unbiased review where we really go over the pros and the cons, you came to the wrong place. Maybe if the game
I thought
$40.
second. I am honestly not gonna buy it until they do something good, like an update or something like that, or maybe Pokemon Home. I might get it. Maybe I'll get a Switch 2 by then. I don't know. But I was trying to borrow a Switch and then buy the game and play it, but I'm seeing way more negative reviews, and not only the gameplay. The gameplay looks fun, but the negative reviews on small things is just triggering to still have after a year of me complaining of them being a $1 billion company. And still we have issues, frame drops, all of these random things, no voice acting. Bro, do I have to continue?
And DLC wasn't announced before the game even came out. If you didn't need Nintendo Online and were forced to play a ranked mode that I promise you will be terrible to unlock content that is already in the game, maybe I'd be a little more charitable. Believe it or not, I wanted to like this game. I love Pokemon. I've played every Pokemon game, and I've only disliked one.
This channel, if you've been here like 2-3 years ago, you know that this channel was pure Pokemon. So I am same here, but after Scarlet and Violet, I didn't even buy the DLC of Scarlet and Violet. So that should speak a lot of how much Pokemon is going down.
One of them. In as much as the money grubbing stuff bothers me, I didn't really interact with any of it. I'm not buying the DLC. I played the Switch 1 version of the game.
You saw this video 20 minutes ago? That's funny.
So I gave it a
I saw it on my phone. I was like, no, pause. I need to react.
First. But the more I played the game, the more I grew to hate it. The more tired I am of being disappointed by everything Game Freak makes. From a lack of ambition, from a lack of effort, it's just lacking. Everything they make is lacking.
Facts.
Every time you make a video criticizing Nintendo or Pokemon, there are always people being like, oh, it's the Nintendo fanboys, the Pokemon fanboys, they're gonna get you. These aren't fans. A fan of something loves it. If you love Pokemon, why are you okay with it being dumpstered on constantly? I'm sick and tired of a billion-dollar franchise being treated like it's made by some small indie company.
Thank you. Finally, someone fucking else says it. Holy shit. I've been ranting about this shit for years. And now somebody tells it in a video. Thank you. Holy shit. Billion-dollar company, but still fucking around. like, even the creator of Schedule 1 did better than fucking Pokemon. Like, what?
While they charge us as much as they possibly can for what is supposed to be a spin-off. $70 game, $30 DLC, $20 Switch Online, $450 console, just...
Like, bruh, just for Pokemon to be fucking terrible.
To play the full game and have it run properly. But that's enough preamble. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and it's...
Yeah, yada, yada, yada. Moving on.
To give you 10,000 reasons why this game isn't worth $70, it's not worth $80, and it's definitely not worth $500 to get the full experience. In fact, by the end of this, I'd be surprised if you wanted to play it for free. Let's talk about the world. Something that people are rightfully concerned about, that the entire map is just one city. And all of your fears have been realized, and probably worse, because it's a city where all the doors are painted on. Aside from a handful of story locations and some battle cafes, which are basically empty, you cannot enter any buildings, not even stores. You remember every other video game ever made? You enter a store, you talk to the counter, you buy some stuff, a couple NPCs are around, maybe they have useful information, maybe give you an item, maybe add a little flavor to the world. Nope, nothing. You get a menu. Modeling the inside of a building is far too much effort in a game that has one location.
Leave your honest poll.
Over a decade ago with an entire region.
Like, look at this. Even this pixelated bullshit looks better.
Has a more believable city than the game that is only about this city. And I don't know what people were smoking to think the game would have catacombs. You get 2 underground areas. 2, which are just a series of hallways. Maybe it has some engaging puzzles, maybe platforming challenges, maybe a bunch of dangerous wild Pokemon you have to dodge past. No, nothing. A series of hallways you run through. There you go. There are those catacombs everyone was so excited about. It's just a sewer, you know, where this game belongs. So given the entire world is just the surface of one city, not including the insides of any of the buildings, what could possibly make exploring this world interesting? Nothing. The answer is nothing. They have done nothing to add variety to a single location. The city rooftops you explore from the beginning of the game is exactly the same as the one you're doing at the very end. There is no meaningful difference through any of it. You don't even get new movement abilities. You get one. You know, in the last game, you could fly, you could climb, you could do all this cool stuff. Now, you get one midair jump, and you can only do it while falling. So it's not even like a double jump. That's it.
What the fuck is that?
The game is just this. What you're seeing right now. Do you see what I'm saying? When the game is interesting for 3 hours, maybe, and then it gets real old real fast. But of course, the variety comes from the wild areas. The wild areas are sectioned off city blocks or parks where wild Pokemon can be caught and attack you. Actually, they can do that through the rest of the city too, but they're more common here. So surely there must be some variety there. No, there isn't. It's just more city blocks or a small park. That's the entire variety. The most different it gets is one wild area, just one, has some snow. Isn't that exciting? A regular game has you going from snowy mountaintop to swamp, to cave, to forest.
I was testing to see if it's on.
You get park or rooftop. That's the whole game. 20 hours. Park, rooftop, one sewer section. It's a joke. So the world itself is boring, but who cares? What about the things that you do in that world? Maybe that's cool. Of course not.
Park
You have
rooftop
your
is insane.
Ubisoft collectibles, like screws that you get for completing platforming challenges, and I'm using the term platforming really loosely, which you can use to get an EXP boost, maybe get resources faster, catch Pokemon easier, because the game wasn't easy enough already. You also have crystals all over that you have to make your Pokemon use moves on them to break them, which slows down the pacing of the game, because you need to collect a whole lot of them to get some of the Mega Stones. I guess finding TMs is pretty cool, but in order for the finding to be fun, the exploring has to be fun.
It's a good game, but it's what? It's coming from some people that didn't know what a 3DS is until they should, well, yes and no, but the main issue with me is that after so many years, we are still down to this slop. Literally, every other gaming console or creator has evolved. Pokemon is still running Everstones in their fucking company. Like, bitch, evolve. Give us textures. Give us actual fucking things. Not copy paste. This is all copy pasted. All of these walls are copy pasted fucking 2D pictures. No, dude. You have money. Make the proper Pokemon game that everybody wants. Everyone loves your content. Everyone loves your product since the fucking days of DS and pixels and sprites. We are addicted. But you have the means to make a good Pokemon. It doesn't have to be hyper realistic because it's a cartoon. But at least give us textures, man. What the fuck is this?
Which exploring the exact same copy-pasted rooftop 500 times is not fun.
I literally just said about copy pasting and he talks about it. It's crazy time.
And the funny thing is, I could forgive all of this if at least moving around was fun. But no, you get nothing. No bike, no roller skates, remember those? No riding Pokemon, nothing. Just run around and the worst double jump you've ever seen. Scarlet and Violet could get away with having a barren, empty world because at least it was fun to move around. You could run real fast and jump real high and fly. It was fun to move around. Here you get nothing, because if they gave you anything, you'd realize how small, uninteresting, and lame the world is. I mean, how could you have all these platforming challenges if you could jump and fly? Who wants to climb buildings? It's not like that's been in every game ever. Alright, so it's not fun to explore, not really anything cool to find. What about the side quests? Well, the game has a ton of side quests, at least 100, maybe more, but unsurprisingly, when there's that many of them, they're real bad. They're about as lazy as they could possibly get. There are only 3 side quests. It's Battle Guy, go walk over there, or show me Pokemon. And because it's a Game Freak, it is much worse than it sounds. It's watch a cutscene, battle Guy who has 3 Clefairy that know only Metronome, so it's impossible to lose, then watch another cutscene and get rewarded with basically nothing. And that's about half. Maybe half of the side quests. Just battle person who has 1 Pokemon, maybe 2, impossible to lose, and get rewarded with nothing. It's money, which is worthless in this game. You get an insane amount of it. Or it's a TM you don't need, or it's berries.
Yeah, no, I'm saving my money.
Game missions. In fact, some of these side quests are post-game, and you get berries as the reward. And these are the best.
The only thing that I would do with this game is literally borrow a Switch, buy the game, farm until I can get to online trading, and then get my old group together so we can generate shinies of all the Mega Pokemons and everything like that and give them away in streams. That's what I will do with this game. Play it, stream it, shiny hunt in it. Oh, hell no.
Better side quests. How about watch a cutscene, follow the Pokemon, watch another cutscene, follow them again, watch another cutscene, follow them again, and it's not like you're doing anything, you're just walking there. Maybe there's a jump, which all culminates into a battle with a singular wild Pokemon. Isn't that incredible? And these are multiple. There are multiple side quests that are just this. And then finally, a bunch of missions that are just, hey, do you have every color of Floette? Cool. Good job. Thumbs up. And I'd say those three things are like 90% of the side missions. And everything in between isn't better, it's worse. Like, how about just use a move on this stationary object? Good job. You did it. That was worth the multiple cutscenes. I keep emphasizing the cutscene part because these honestly wouldn't be that egregious if it wasn't for the constant pausing. You get 30 seconds of gameplay where you completely obliterate them and then 2 minutes of pauses. The best side quest is one I did in the very beginning, and it's just a go walk over there quest, but at least it's a sort of hidden area, and as a reward, you get a shiny Mareep, and I love Mareep. That's the bar, by the way. The bar the rest of the quest
Only the OG people will understand about Mareep.
can't meet. The expectations, they were just so low, and yet somehow too high. And that's the game world. Boring, lacks variety, nothing to see or find, not fun to traverse, and it's everything you should have expected and worse. Now, before we get to the gameplay, I want to talk about the story just a little bit. No spoilers yet. Not that the game really has a story to spoil, but if you really don't want to hear anything about it, use the timestamps to skip this section. Now, you're a part of a crew of a couple dweebos, and the leader of your crew is in debt to a loan shark. And I'm talking a real loan shark. Your team leader likes to help people out around the city, helped one of the loan sharks, and as a reward, she got offered a loan to make a video advertisement for the hotel you guys stay at. And in the hidden fine print, they specifically say it's tiny text she could not read. It has an insane interest rate where this 100,000 Poké-Dollar loan accrued 1 million Poké-Dollars in interest over the course of a couple days. Not years, days. So you go to the loan sharks because you got to help your friend out, and they put you into indentured servitude. You have to do their bidding to pay off not the loan, just the interest, and it's potentially forever. They make it clear that you might have to work for them forever. It's however long they want you to work. So in this Pokemon game, there are creditors who enslave you through predatory loans, and guess what? They're the good guys. Yes, the predatory loan sharks are
Teenagers are building businesses with AI, while the only AI you know is
It's
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Let's be
Shut
real.
the fuck
Most
up.
people
good guys, the heroes of the game. How, you ask? Well, of course, the indentured servitude, the literal slavery, because you are not paid, and it is not clear when, if ever, the debt would ever be repaid, is actually community service. They're making you do good things. Can we talk about for just a second how insane this is? That this is actual propaganda? That they're trying to
jump scare Christ.
predators, the most evil people on the planet, who would drown you in the liquefied remains of your entire family for 4 cents? That tricking
Okay, that's a little bit too far.
and then enslaving someone over a mountain of debt is righteous because they're doing it for the right reasons. I know I say Nintendo is evil, and it's a bit of an exaggeration, a good YouTube thumbnail. This is actually evil. An innumerable number of human lives have been destroyed under the weight of debt and interest. And they're teaching children. This is a children's game. They're like, Lil Timmy, the creditor's a good guy. I know you lost your house and you're living on the street now, but that investment banker really needed that 10% so that he could make the city a better place. When I said I was going to teach the kids about the Federal Reserve, they were supposed to be the bad guys. Anyway, I just think it's a bit silly that the giant evil
Crazy
corporation is trying to teach our children that debt collectors are good, and that tricking someone into going into debt is super cool and fun. Now for the slightly bigger spoilers. Not that I'm spoiling anything that happens. Is it even a spoiler to say what doesn't happen? The whole plot of the game is rogue mega evolution and ooh, wild Pokemon going crazy. And there's
Thank you for stopping there, Wolf. I'll see you in the next one.
a mega corporation that's setting up the wild zones to to keep in all of these wild Pokemon. And they're in control of Lumiose Tower, which no one can enter and is emitting strange energy. And as a player, you're immediately like, oh, they're evil, right? The mega corporation controls everything, creates wild areas throughout the city where you take an apartment complex and a small business, and it is now surrounded by dangerous Pokemon that attack you on sight. You now have to fight for your life just to go home. So clearly these guys must be evil, right? Nope, they're not evil either. Nobody's evil. The game does not have an evil team, doesn't even have any bad guys. There are no villains in this game. This is what I'm talking about, where I'm saying the game might as well not have a story. The villain of the game, if you call it that, is just big old guy made a defense structure for the evil team back in Gen 6, and now it's going crazy. So you have to go stop it. That's it. No evil team, no grand plan, no ideals fighting against each other, nothing. Everyone's a good guy. Riveting. I just don't see why Nintendo and Game Freak would make the giant mega corporation and debt collectors good guys. Really makes you think, huh? It's funny because they even mock you in the game. There's a crowd of people being like, I know you guys are behind all of the rogue mega evolution. I know you guys are behind this. And you have to fight these people off. And I'm like, surely there must be a twist. Nope, no twist. The big evil mega corporation is a good guy. You will pay $70 for the game. You will pay $30 for the DLC. You will pay $20 for Switch Online. And you will pay $450 for the new console. We're the good guys. You're evil for questioning us. Whatever. No more spoilers. Spoiler time over. On to the gameplay. Now, the big selling point of ZA is the real-time combat. And I hate it. I really don't like it. It's not egregious, but it's really just spam all your attacks to win, which wouldn't be too bad because the animations are pretty cool, but it's just so jank. The real problem is you can't order your Pokemon to move around without using a move, and even then, it's an invisible targeting reticle, so you'll use a move like
Facts,
Surf,
it's actually
which
crazy.
targets the enemy Pokemon, no problem. The attack will always come from and go to exactly where you expect. But then, you use a move like Psychic, which actually targets a few feet in front of you, meaning the Pokemon who just surfed through someone now has to run all the way back to you to then start charging the attack, and only once that's done do they finally just attack the enemy. On its own, this makes the combat feel sluggish because it's wait for the move to charge, use the move, wait for your Pokemon to run off somewhere to then charge another move. But what's even worse is fainting because your Pokemon would have won and attacked faster, but decided to do a little run instead. It's not like it matters that much, because again, you're not really losing any of these fights anyway, but it just feels bad when half the time you're not actually attacking, you're either running around or charging. What makes it worse, and it is something they had to do, is when your Pokemon switch in, they do a big cry, because you can dodge an attack by switching, so it'd be kind of unfair if you could immediately act after that. But this also occurs when your Pokemon is fainted, meaning you just lost a Pokemon, you throw in a new one, and they immediately get a free hit on you. It's all just intentionally unresponsive. I want to hit the button and then something happened. I don't care what you have to do to make that occur, but that's what every other game does, and I like it that way. I hit the button, something happens immediately, not later, now. It also doesn't help that the Pokemon can just get stuck on stuff. Using Talonflame was a nightmare. It got stuck on everything, and it just won't attack, because if it can't make it to the other Pokemon, it just won't do anything. Also, your attacks can get stuck on lips. Like a tiny little lip on the ground can block your attack, and now you just get 0 damage
no
when
way.
they hit you. I feel like I'm complaining about nothing, though, because Mega Evolution is so OP, none of this matters. One Mega can usually sweep an entire team, because the game has a Mega Bar now. As you deal damage, you get more points in your bar. When it's full, you can Mega Evolve. You can also use points in your bar to use plus moves, which just make your moves do more damage. All Megas only use plus moves, meaning not only do you get the huge stat boost, but all of your moves deal more damage too. It's insanely overpowered. You can sweep entire teams with just your Mega, and because it's a bar that fills over time.
Another ad. Number 2.
You can Mega multiple times in one fight. And this is a cool part of the game. A big problem with Mega Evolution is megas are super cool, and I want only megas, but there's no reason to ever have more than one. But now you can Mega Evolve multiple times. Mega Evolutions are insanely OP, so you're incentivized to have a team of all megas, which is cool. I like megas. It's also important to have a team of all megas for the boss battles. Periodically through the game, you're going to have to fight a rogue mega, and that means they're giant for some reason and have 1,000,000 health, and they only take real damage from plus moves. And megas are by far the most efficient way of using plus moves. So you're going to want a mega that is super effective on the boss, or it's going to take a year. I liked these battles at first, and I slowly grew to hate them more and more as the game went on. At first, it's like, oh, it's cool. I have to like maneuver my Pokemon to try and get them to dodge the moves because they follow you, sorta. But at a certain point, you realize they will never feint your Pokemon. Instead, they target nearly exclusively you. So it's a terrible Dark Souls boss fight where they spam the same move over and over and over and over again while your Pokemon does 2 damage to them, and the fight takes an hour and you can't dodge while ordering your Pokemon around. So if you want to get that little extra damage in and you take too many hits, you have to start the whole fight over again. Not your Pokemon, you, the trainer, gets hit too many times. You have to start the whole fight over again. It's the Pokemon baby game we're talking about. If you just don't attack and you only focus on dodging, you will never get hit ever. The only reason you lose these fights is because they take so long and you're trying to speed them up, and because of that, you get hit too many times and now you have to start over. I never lost a Pokemon battle one time, but my trainer died a bunch of times. It's extremely annoying trying to order your Pokemon around who just run around wherever they want, charge up their moves, really sluggish and annoying, while trying to dodge giant AoE attacks that come from everywhere. I'm just trying to pass through, dude. I want to catch a Bagon. Leave me alone, Salamence.
That sounds annoying.
It's not fun. I know some people think it's neat, but I'd rather just play Dark Souls if I wanted to play Dark Souls. I play Pokemon to play Pokemon. The Pokemon should fight the other Pokemon, not me. Now, maybe this would be more interesting if you had more interesting movement, you know, like roller skates, that thing that Gen 6 was known for. No, you get one dodge that you can use sometimes, as long as you're not ordering your Pokemon to do something, which you're doing 99% of the time. Now, you don't actually have to worry about getting hit in the regular Pokemon battles, which is what you'll be doing most of the time. The actual gameplay loop of the game is at night. You have to battle a bunch of people to rank up in the ZA tournament. You go from Z to A, and every time you want to rank up, you have to do a boss trainer battle, you know, like a gym leader. But wow, that's a lot of gym leaders, and you have to battle a bunch of trainers just to get the right to then rank up. Now, you can get these points pretty fast, given you can sneak up in one shot to start a fight with a trainer that probably only has 3 Pokemon to begin with. I already don't like having a bunch of filler battles, but it's pretty pathetic that even at the very end of the game, you're fighting trainers with like 3 Pokemon, and really it's 2 because you're one-shotting
actually wild. Welcome in, Pez.
Before they even get to start. I don't know who thought stealth mechanics in a Pokemon game was a good idea, but either way, that's a lot of gym leaders. Z to A, that's insane. Now, of course, it's a trick. This is a Pokemon game. Remember, under promise and under deliver. Sure, you go from Z to Y, but then you jump from V to F. Yeah, so the vast majority you're just skipping through. The game like tricks you into being like, wow, this game's gonna be pretty long. Nope, sorry. The game really would have a great gameplay.
What the fuck is the point then?
Better game where during the day you explore, then at night.
Nah, no. $1 billion, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, this game's gonna be pretty long. Nope, sorry. The game really would.
$1 billion. And look what we're getting. Trash ass ground that's literally 2D copy paste. Water, I don't even want to talk about it. And this is in the maximum quality of the video. Ain't no way, bro. What the hell?
Loop. If it was just a better game where during the day you explore, then at night you fight a bunch of Pokemon battles, and then you conclude the day with a boss
This ain't fighting. This is literally just running around, press buttons.
battle. And then you do that all the way up until A rank and the game's over. Too bad the exploration sucks because the world is bad. The battling isn't so great either. And I guess they recognize this. That's why you skip most of the letters. And most of the game is, oh, you have a placement match. It's time to fight the boss to rank up to the next letter. But now we have to do some story stuff to go find that person. It's weird because it's not like you don't have a bunch of boss trainer battles. Because it'll be like, okay, we have to go fight this guy. But first we have to do this boss battle against this trainer. I feel like they originally planned for you having to go through all of the letters, but they realized it just
How many minutes do I have?
too much padding, which it wouldn't have to be padding if they didn't
Be right
make
back,
all
chat.
the regular trainer fights a joke. I know at this point I'm just complaining to complain, but there's also way too many refights. You will fight a trainer and then have to fight that same trainer again 10 minutes later. It's like, I've trained. It's time for a rematch. I just saw you. Whatever. Enough of the gameplay. It's time to talk about what everyone really cares about, or me, which is the new Megas. And why do they look so bad? What do they do? And why do I kind of like them? I don't know why people
Keep an
feel
eye
the
on the
need
chat for
to
me.
defend garbage. That they'll show a Mega. Everyone will be like, wow, that looks really terrible. And then a bunch of people will come out of nowhere and be like, actually, I like it a lot. And now fight that same trainer again 10 minutes later. It's like, I've trained. It's time for a rematch. I just saw you. Whatever. Enough of the gameplay. It's time to talk about what everyone really cares about, or me, which is the new Megas. And why do they look so bad? What do they do? And why do I kind of like them? I don't know why people feel the need to defend garbage. That they'll show a Mega. Everyone will be like, wow, that looks really terrible. And then a bunch of people will come out of nowhere and be like, actually, I like it a lot. And now, all of a sudden, that's me. I think I got brain damage. Starmie is one of my favorite Pokemon. I love him. And then I saw the picture of the Mega, and I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. Why have they done this to my boy? But after fighting him as a boss, I'm like, I think I actually love this guy. He's awesome. Just look at him run. Imagine that running at you. Imagine the true fear you would feel. There's just something alluring about it. I don't know. Also, Mega Scrafty, it just speaks to me. He's got a hoodie, and it's white. Now, I'm not saying I like them all. In fact, some of them are some of the worst things I've ever seen. Mega Clefable, horrible. Mega Excadrill, look what they did to my boy. How does he move? And Mega Feraligatr is a toilet. They just made him a toilet. Why? But I think the laziest one is Mega Skarmory. I love Skarmory, but they're just like, all right, he's yellow now, and his feet are real big. Can they at least try, like, a little bit? Like, come on. Whatever. There'll be some guy who'll be like, that's my favorite. I love the color yellow. I eat mustard. I don't know, man. I think that's all I got. Don't buy this game. It's not good. It's just disappointing. Aren't you tired of disappointments? They made one pleasant surprise, and they've taken that goodwill and are using it to milk their audience completely dry of all the money they could possibly take for a product that is low effort, low imagination, has no ambition. They tried one new thing and sacrificed everything else for it, and it's not good. Making a Pokemon game, making an open world game that takes place in one area with no variety was never going to be a good idea. It was never going to work. This game was a failure at the planning stages. Exploring one city is already not that interesting, but a city where you can't even go in the buildings with no movement abilities, ignoring the DLC, ignoring the required online, ignoring the $10 upgrade. The game's still not good. It's not worth it. Maybe for $40. And if you skip this part, it'll be confusing, but trying to convince kids that creditors and evil corporations are actually good guys, the game is mocking you for buying it. Now, I haven't discussed performance at all because I played this on Switch 1, which obviously isn't ideal, and my Switch console is really weird. But even with all of that, the game ran perfectly fine. I honestly had no trouble. Being stuck at 30 FPS, kind of lame, but I don't really care. Now, I don't think that suddenly makes the game worth buying. It's not impressive.
30 FPS on a Switch 1, 60 FPS on a Switch 2. That ain't crazy.
To have a game that runs without a ton of glitches and bugs, but it is surprising for a Pokemon game. Anyway, that's the review.
All right, wonderful video, not gonna lie. Everyone go check them out, leave a like. and I will be back for the third stream, which will be another review, but it will be from the one, the only. Moist Critical.
Beginning my
Because I started watching it, I stopped it right there and left a like. He's talking about ZA and Black Ops, so we should do that after. All right. Again, one short break, and then I will be back with the next stream. Ending soon. Thank you, Shannon. Everyone, leave your votes before we end. Yeah, 5 votes. This literally, this game is trash. Alright then, chat. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.